All right, guys, we're here. Can you tell everybody what your name is and kind of like what your background is for those few fools who shouldn't, who don't know who you are?
Tyrone Glover, originally from California. I'm a black belt under Ricardo Miller from Paragon, former Pride veteran, I guess you could say. Former MMA fighter, now in indefinite retirement. But as you can see, I'm still on the mat, still doing my thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, for those who don't know, you've been on the scene for a while doing jiu-jitsu and other kind of competitions, and like you said, you fought in Pride, back, before fighting was even really that cool here in America, and having that kind of experience and that background, like, what do you think about the modern state of MMA, and does it excite you at all, or are you kind of over it? What do you think about the way things are going now?
No, I still think that the people who are successful in the MMA arena are very much like the original pioneers. It's just
right.
that it's mixed martial arts. You have all these different disciplines that sort of come together, and people try to learn, the strengths and weaknesses of the various disciplines, and it all sort of comes together in this competition format. There's definitely a lot of guys out there who just think it's like a tough guy contest. They just step into the cage and
do their best.
Swing. Yeah, we call those guys cage fighters. But the mixed martial artists, the guys at the top of their game, the GSPs, the BJ Penns, the Anderson Silvas, the Lota Machitos, the Fedor Emelianenko's, they're still very much fans of the martial arts that really got them to where they are at this
right.
state.
Now, being that you have the experience and everything that you do, I know a lot of the guys that go to my site and that go to MMA Buzz and stuff are always looking for, pointers, especially from somebody of your caliber and your background. What would you recommend to guys who are maybe just getting into it, or even have been into it for a while, but are just kind of, maybe stuck? And, what kind of things would you tell guys that you knew personally who were interested in fighting? Work on this, work on that. Like, what kind of advice do you have for guys?
I would say remember that, it's mixed martial arts. It's not mixed martial science. It's not one specific way or one specific formula that's going to ultimately get you to where you want to be. A lot of times it's sort of a self-learning process. You have to learn what your strengths and weaknesses are. You have to learn, sort of how your style is going to develop in its own unique sense. And, take a lot of time, look internally, look at guys who you want to be like, do a lot of visualization. But realize it's going to be very much a personal journey. It's not like there's a set of techniques that if you just learn these set of techniques, you're going to, be the bomb.
Right.
Realize that it's going to be very much personalized. There's going to be setbacks within your own sort of, training, and there's going to be advances and little things that you do that, are just going to make all the difference. So just remember, it's a personal journey. It's an art, not a science,
Well, let me ask you this. You said you're kind of indefinite retirement right now. What would it take for us to see Tyrone Glover back in the ring or the cage again in an MMA form?
I don't know. It would take a lot at this point. I've invested, quite a bit.
Would it be like a certain opponent maybe that would get you up for a fight? Like you could get
something interesting, something that would sort of
push you and
pique my interest.
Right.
Something that just hasn't been done before. It would have to be sort of outside of the
norm.
Typical format that's out there right now.
Okay.
Fighting a bunch of, it would have to be something different, something that would pique my interest. I don't think there's really anything monetary that I could be offered, but it would have to just be sort of
All right, and then real quick, number one jiu-jitsu memory. What's your number one jiu-jitsu memory? Getting your black belt, a tournament you won. What comes to mind?
Probably getting my black belt was for sure, because my instructor came over here and he even said this during our promotion. It was kind of a dream. He got on a plane to America. His wife was pregnant. He didn't know what was going to happen in his life, but his goal coming over here was to make an American black belt, was to be over here, have a successful school, and eventually one day promote an American guy to black belt. And I was fortunate enough to be that guy. And the people that were there present for that ceremony, there was a lot of people there. Jeff Glover, all of the Paragon guys, all of my city boxing guys. It was a very emotional ceremony. Like, people were crying. And, you really got to see sort of what jiu-jitsu was all about and what the Paragon family was all about that day. So.
Well, and coming from such a great family, nobody's ever saying anything bad about the Paragon guys, and you being over here and having the opportunity to train with you, I've had the experience and I have to say it's like been an amazing, thing, like, and that your style is extremely unique and very, very amazing to learn about, and being here at Easton, like, how does how does that, stack up in your mind? I mean, like, how are you excited about being here and being able to bring what you bring to the table here for the Easton guys?
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, similar to Paragon, they have so many different styles here. The brothers Klein got their own sort of style. Maul has a different one. Elliot's really borrowing a lot from MMA and incorporating that into his style. We have Matt Chabert over here from Shanji and Salo School. He's trained with Shanji and Salo way back in the day, so it's really nice to sort of see some glimpses of that game and sort of what he's done with the game from over here. Nice. Professor Carrera is just amazing, more like traditional sort of Gracie Baja bottom, closed guard game. So it's really nice. You get a lot of different looks here, which is really nice. I can sort of compare and contrast.
Okay, cool. And then last thing is, what's your best fight moment? What, most memorable fight moment?
Gosh, most memorable fight moment was probably my second fight. I fought this guy. I remember his name, Derek Keys. I think he's a 185 pounder. This was my last fight.
Wow. And this was in Japan, or?
No. This was when I was it was like me, myself, and like Uriah Faber.
Okay.
Like James Irvin and Scott Smith. We were all fighting in this local show called Gladiator Challenge.
Okay.
By Ted Williams. And this guy, like, this was my last fight at 170 because I realized I was just way too small for 170. And this guy came into the weigh-ins all sucked up. But then this was my first experience with a guy who really knew how to cut weight. Probably showed up in the cage like 185, 190.
Wow.
And I'm still hanging out at like 170.
Right.
He basically tossed me around for the first 4 minutes. And, I had just come off a real big win, in my hometown the fight before. So I was a little bit like overconfident.
Right.
But then, I just had to like really gather, myself together in front of my home crowd, and I ended up just kind of slipping into a footlock and finishing the fight like a minute before the first round. And I can just remember being like, okay, this is no joke,
Yeah.
It's not always going to be a given that you're going to come away with the victory. There's going to be some times where it's uncertain. You just got to dig deep, and that's what I think is so great about MMA and about jiu-jitsu and about just martial arts in general.
Cool. I just thought of one more question. I think a lot of people miss the mental aspect of training. I know I didn't focus on it as much as I should have coming up, and I'm realizing there's some holes there. What advice do you have for fighters as far as that goes? Like, I mean, how did you train yourself mentally, or was that just something that you kind of just always had, like that fortitude inside, or is there anything you think about as you train, or anything that helps you in that department?
I mean, for me, it's a lot of visualization. So my advice to people who want to to really explore the mental side of things is to really become a fan. Become a fan of jiu-jitsu, become a fan of mixed martial arts, and find those guys who you like, whose game you like. Watch them. Visualize yourself rolling like they roll. Visualize yourself executing moves the way they execute. And a lot of times, we get so bogged down on all the little tiny details of the techniques, but the details. A lot of times it's just about execution and visualizing and knowing how something looks properly, and not only just knowing that, but being psyched about it. Being a fan of jiu-jitsu, being a fan of the practitioners really helps you internalize it and get yourself, mentally on the right page to be executing.
Cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time. All the guys in MMA Buzz and the people that visit my site will be really excited to see you. And like I said, I appreciate the time. I know you're going on a big trip. And, I hope you have a good time, and, congratulations on passing the bar. For those of you guys who don't know, Professor Glover is also a lawyer now. He just passed the bar very recently. So, we're looking forward to good things from you here at Easton, and I can't wait to see you compete in any way, shape, or form. So, and I know everybody else feels the same. So, again, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Cool. Right on, guys.